All right.
Yes, Samuel, you are live.
All right. All right. So everybody can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you fine.
All right. All right. That's good. I'm sorry about that a while ago. Just some technical difficulty, but we're going right back on track. Starting with the game I was telling you about. This is a game that like me and one other person, one of my friends, and a student of Mr. Martin as well. The two of us worked together to make this game. So right here, as Mr. Martin was speaking about design with a game, design refers to like the graphics and everything that you interact with because you want a colorful game. But on this screen, it was like a demo version of the game. Demo meaning it's not the final product, like it's the first product, but not final, like prototype. So this is not impressive. But this is what we made because it was the demo. If it was the final version of the game, then it would be much more colorful with buttons. So first, I'm going to show you how to play how the gameplay of this game. So just look. All right. Okay, so it's loading. Okay, it's done. Okay, so so this is the game basically. This man in the court has turned away from these two. I think they're ghosts, but I'm not sure. But if they kill you, then yeah, you'll get the game over screen. And see when they're nearby, they attack the player and they follow the player. That is called pathfinding in a game. So see, this is what happens when like your health bar gets low because you know in games when your health bar reaches zero, it's game over. Or you like just start over. So on this screen, the game over screen, you press R to retry or E to exit. And this is all due to coding. Everything that you want the game to do, you have to code it. And I know Mr. Martin mentioned that like for G develop, you don't have to code and some other game engines, but for G develop, you have. Wait, let me show you. So G develop, you have a menu called events, and events is where all the coding happens. Like like it's not coding, but it's coding because you have to know instructions and how to put them in order. But this kind of coding is specific to G develop. That means you can't use these things outside of G develop. So let me see if I have any questions. I only see the screen. All right. Okay. Okay. So then, all right. You see this? Wait a second. All right. All right. So here on the screen, you see this is a list of events. This is what we call them in GDevelop. And as I said, you have to like use coding that is specific to GDevelop in order to make the game work. So for example, on here you have at the beginning of the scene. That means when you start up the game, like the instance that the game loads to 100%, you see this screen, then exactly at that point you have this. And this is where the game plays the music, right? See, at volume 100, so it's very loud. And you can repeat the sound, yes or no. Okay. But let me move on to the actual game. The actual game screen. All right. So as you can see, Mr. Martin spoke about design, and everything you see here is a part of the design. See, the stage goes all the way over there. Can zoom in. And levels, this is a one level game. So this is the only stage because as I said, it was just a demo game. It wasn't a full-time thing. Characters. So as for the characters, you have, no, not that many. You have these people, which is the hospital girl and the evil boy. And you have to, as Mr. Martin said, you create them, the characters, in another software because GDevelop is an engine that only lets you, yeah, just create the game, the code itself. You have to get the graphics outside of GDevelop. So let us meet our main character. And this is the character that that the player uses throughout their time in the game. So this is his character design. This is how he looks when he is running, and you can preview it right here. Or you can make him run faster if you want. This is how he looks when he's just standing up. And Mr. Martin mentioned something about animation in games, which is true because if you just had one frame with him just standing, it wouldn't like look very realistic. So when you add animation to even when the character is just standing, you can make it have a little more realism. Next, you have the jump. And you see this when you play the game and press like the space button, so he jumps. And this happens. This is the screen where he dies, like at the last part. And this design shows that the character has been hurt. Like when the hospital girl hits him with her hammer or axe, what she's carrying. So this is what happens. This is the animation that should be shown. And again, you have to code it so that this happens. So is everyone following so far? Let me see in the comments. Is everyone following? All right, yes. Okay, good. All right, let's look at the code. No, wait, before that, we have these preview. This is just the design for everything, like the door, the background, because you have background, middle ground, what's the term for that? The middle ground that everything happens, and then you have the foreground. So this is the background. And the characters, like the evil boy, would be in the middle part, and the foreground is the things that are like on the screen, like the button to move. So yeah, those kind of things. So this is his design. This is when he's running, chasing after the player. This is where he attacks. And here, he's just standing. Right, apply. And the hospital girl is the same thing. So there's when she's running. This is her attack. If you saw the preview I showed of the game, you saw when they were when they got near to the player, this animation happened. So yeah, she hit the player and the life. The health bar, which is this went down. All right. So before I start on the code for how I achieve this, do you have any questions in here? How easy is GDevelop to use? To be honest, it's not easy because, as I said, I'm not a professional and I'm still learning how it goes. Basically, the simpler the game, the simpler the code. If you want to have a complicated game like the other game I'm going to show you, then you're going to need to know things like strings, variables. What do you call it? I don't remember that word, but it's a para word. But that's more complicated. So, any more questions? I think I answered Mr. Martin's question a while ago. So I hope you understood that. Any more questions? Anyone? I'm looking. All right. No questions? Who is going to do GDevelop? Oh, I don't think that's a question for me. So, if there aren't any more questions, then we'll move on to the code right here in the code. Okay, so I explained this at the beginning of scene, and how you get this is you look under the list of conditions that you get, and you do this by, you can click add conditions, this button right here, add conditions. So see like that. You have a variety of options you can choose from: advanced, conditions as it pertains to the sprite, image, animation, pause, current animation, etc., direction, effects. Outside of that, common conditions for all objects. Collision, this is what happens when like a character is like in a car game where you're like crashing a wall, so that's the collision, like when two objects touch. Angle, that is the direction, like where it's turned. Movement, you can make the object stop. Like, see, if the object is stopped, angle of movement, etc. Behaviors. These are complicated terms, so I won't get too much into them. So I'm just grazing over them so you can understand the basics. But a very important thing that you have to learn when you're coding or anything are variables. Now, I know that I don't know how many of you. Wait, I have a question. Which is better, RPG Maker or GDevelop? Okay, so Nick Miles, I tried. Okay, the thing is, you have GDevelop. It's better to make, like, for games in RPG Maker, they're kind of generic, meaning that every game you make, it looks the same. But I think if you have the hang of it, how to make games using that software, then you can make games faster than in GDevelop, because even though GDevelop is manageable and you can learn it because you have a lot of tutorials on YouTube, it is a bit difficult. Wait, hold on. All right, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, Nick Miles, if you're looking to make a game faster and a more generic looking RPG game, you can make RPG Maker. But if you need a like more complicated game, you're going to go more with GDevelop or other software like Unity. I started with Unity, but it didn't work so well. Like, it's coding and I didn't understand. So I came back to GDevelop and I'm trying to learn that. So, all right, no more questions. Then we move on to the coding. And as I said, I have to explain variables, because in all coding you have some things called variables. Variables are like what do you want? What can I call it? It's like a box that holds something specific to an instruction that you're trying to execute. So for example, if I click value of an object's variable, wait, and I go down to MC, variable clock. Wait a minute, wrong one. No, wrong menu. This screen, by the way, this is a variable of an object. Like, you have to link the variable to the object. Like the main character, you have a variable that is native to him called clock. And I don't remember what this variable does, but I think it does something about him running. And then you have operations. I usually use equal to. Then you have the value. And these are more complicated things. So, and then you have the other variable, the variables that regard to like global variables. Global variables are things that the other game might be better to explain all of this, but global variable, basically, that's a variable that branches all across the game. Because you remember, I showed you this. This is just one level, as I said. So a scene variable, as you can see here, when I click on variables, a scene variable would regard to this scene, which is called game. So this scene alone is called game. Game events right here are the coding or logistics that go along with the game right here. So yeah, and a global variable would be a set of code that branches all across these. This game does not have any global variables, by the way. Wait, let me see if I have any more questions. Maths in game development. Yeah, to be honest, unless you're going to use RPG Maker, you or some game that has no coding whatsoever, you're going to create some generic looking games, and although they're easier to make, you're going to be limited as to what you can do. Like, you want the character to do a backflip every time he jumps. Like, when the character jumps, you want him to do a backflip when you press X. Like you can do in some games. Say you're using RPG Maker. That RPG Maker, you can't do that. Like, it's just a top-down system. So the options are very limited as it pertains to like RPG. So with GDevelop now, you can come in conditions here and say something like key, like type in key. Wait. Key released or key pressed. Key pressed is when you like press down on a key. Key release is what will happen immediately when you release the key. So, like, and you select the key right here. Like I say, you want him to jump every time you press A. You set that as the condition. And it's just an example. I'm going to show you this on another example. So A key is pressed. Then you'd come in and go on, change the animation. Like you want to do it for the main character, the person you're playing, main character, equal. Then you're going to set the value. And the value is the value that you're going to change the animation to. Let me show you. If you were paying attention, then you can see, let me scroll down. Then you can see that you have numbers right here, like animation number 0, and I name this run. You don't have to, but you have to pay attention to the animation number. And you have animation 1, animation 2, animation 3, and 4. So an example of this is when main character is jumping. This is a condition. So this comes under platform behavior. And platform is a type of game that's like Mario. You just run, you can either run left or right, you can jump, typical 2D game. So that's all you can do in that kind of game. So it's jumping, and the object is main character. And you can set this to anything else, hospital boy, etc. Cancel. So you say when main character is jumping, change the animation number of main character to 2. And the animation for number 2 is this. So let me show you. Wait until it loads. So you see when he jumps, you see the animation changes from when he's just running. Oh no, when he jumps, animation changes to number 2. When he stops, the animation goes back to number 0. And yeah, I died, but anyways. E for exit. Yes, and that's basically it. Like when main character, this is another condition. When main character is falling, set the animation to 0. 0 is when he's just standing. When main character is on floor, and then below this you can link multiple different events to one condition. That is complicated. As I said, game making isn't the easiest. That's why yesterday in the animation stream I was saying, like, animations are different. Animation is hard, but in some regards it's easier than game making because you have to know coding. All right, let me see some questions here. Best thing to do on no. GDevelop is to make a platformer that is false. I have another game that I will show you where I made a top-down game. And that is a kind of game like Pokemon where you can go up, down, left, right, and talk to people and those kind of things. How we make mobile games with GUI, graphical user interface. No. Look, who is this? Nick Miles. This here we're making a game for. This game can be like you can play it on mobile, but what I find is that it doesn't work as well as on a computer. So coding for games and the different consoles, meaning the things that you play the game on, you're going to have a different set of codes because you know that every system has different specifications and so forth. So I hope I explained that right. You can change the genre. Sure. As I said, this is just one game that I made for Mr. Martin with a friend. So this is a horror game. So this is what we did. But I'll show you another game. But first, let's go a little more of the conditions. So this is complicated. I don't know how I can explain it any simpler because you have to understand that GDevelop has some strict conditions and actions that coincide is the word with what you're trying to achieve. So when the main character, MC meaning main character, this is the player that you'll play, when he's on the floor, meaning when he's just standing right there, when he's on the floor here, when he is, it says invert condition. So this means when he is not on the floor. So invert meaning the opposite. So this is check if the object is moving, not. Invert means not, so that means no. So when he is on the floor but not moving, you change the animation to 1. To number 1. This is number 1. He's just standing, the idle animation. But in this game, if you stand up too long, you're going to die. So I wouldn't recommend that. So main character is on the floor, but he is not moving. Invert condition right here. Animation is going to go to number 1, and the animation is going to play. Next one, when main character is on floor, like this, when he is moving, you link it to the condition is on floor up here. Okay, you can see it branches out a little bit right here. So when main character is moving and he is on floor, you're going to change the animation to 0. So like this, numbers 0. So I hope everyone is getting this. Is there anything anyone is confused about so far? Because I know that this is complicated. I did coding and it took me a while to understand, but I did computer science, so that made it easier for me to understand GDevelop. Oh, the Pokemon style game? Of course, I have it loaded already. All right, a few more. As for this key, right key is pressed, flip horizontally, no. So that means when you press the right key is the direction that the main character is already going in, so you won't flip the character. Look what will happen if I set this to yes. So let me show you what's going to happen. Wait there. I'm going to wait a second. I have to. You can toggle disabled. That means when it's disabled, these codes won't happen, so they won't attack me. So I can show you what I'm doing better than when they're chasing me and trying to kill me. So P. Wait, you see? All right, they're still chasing me, but they're not attacking me, as you can see. Gosh, get away from me. So see, when you press that, he turns in the wrong direction, so it looks weird. You can't run back way. Oh, wait. All right, then. So where is it? All right, so when you put it, so when you're pressing the right button, like the button, you know your right hand, right? You're not going to flip the character, so you set this to no. But when you press the left key, that is the left-hand side, you need the character to turn in the next direction. So you're going to press select yes for this one. So he'll flip. And when you press the right key again, he will turn in the next direction so that it looks more fluid. Space key. Space key is the jump. So change the animation to number 2. Space key. Number 2, this is the jump. As you can remember, number 2 is the jump. And down here is just, you set up the movement, because in every game you have to have mechanics, as Mr. Martin said, and that speaks to how exactly the game works. So mechanics, like when I press the up button, the character turns their back to the camera and moves up, like in the Pokemon game that you're going to see. And you have to set up the camera as well. Like, you see, this is another thing. But if I disable this, you're going to see what's going to happen. When I disable the camera was previously set so that he followed the character, as you could see, but now, see, you can't see anything. And the controls are haywire as well, because I don't know why that P is right there. So you have to set up the camera so that it follows the character. Let me turn this back on. Okay, and these, one thing I forgot to mention. Not really confusing anything yet. Okay, good. I'm glad you're following you're following Kieran Edwards. All right, so another thing in coding or in game development, you know, like in a textbook, you have like a table of contents. So if you want to see something about photosynthesis or something, you go to page 10. So if you're ever confused, you just go back to the table of contents. Then you can see what's happening. So it's the same thing. The yellow brackets you're seeing right here are called comments. And in coding or game development, these help you know what's happening. So I name this movement. So if I'm ever coming back to want to change something about the game or about how a character is moving, I come here. IDK, this is supposed to be a camera. I don't know why I named it that. Monster. These are the instructions that will relate to the evil boy and the hospital girl. So, as you can see, when I'm playing the game, as soon as the game starts, these two spawn. You know, if you play Roblox, you know that term. That means they appear out of nowhere. So when they spawn, the first thing they do is follow me. So that is called path finding. And that is another code that you have to add. And you remember the actions linked to the condition. So the condition in order for them to chase the main character has to first be on the floor. So see, MC is on floor. And if you notice, this condition is not inverted. So when he is on floor, you're going to move the hospital girl to the X position of the main character. And this is what do you call it? Variable. I think, yes, it's a variable. And the X position is the horizontal position. Like, I'm sure you know horizontal, like straight, sideways, something like that. And the Y position is up to down. So X position is left to right, Y position is up to down, and they intersect. If you do maths and do like graphs, you'll understand this term. So I know that you're bright people, so you must understand. So basically, you move the hospital girl to the position. Like, look what will happen if we disable this now. They're not going to, I'm going to show you. This is going to happen. They're not going to follow. Because, see? And the reason why they're turning is because they are set to run in the direction after you. So like when the main character runs this way, they're supposed to be chasing. And the reason why they're not attacking is because if you remembered, I disabled the code that speaks to attacking the character. And yeah. And if you can hear the music, then that music, Mr. Martin was talking about sound effects in a game, which do help in adding to the mood or anything. Like when the character gets hurt, maybe you hear like the heart drop sound or the character grunting or something. Yeah. Or when you like jump in Mario, you hear the sound when he jumps. Yeah, I should know that. So yeah. Moving on here. Yeah. So you turn back on these, toggle disabled. And when I do this, everything will happen. So they'll chase the character again. Oh, alright. This code right here, I didn't put a comment. I should have done that. But this is when the main character is on floor. Evil boy is in collision with the main character. That means when this character, the evil boy, is like touching the main character. And I know you know what happens when that happens. So it's in collision. Like when the car crash, so when they're touching the main character, you set the animation of evil boy to number 1. I have to scroll up to the top. 2. Number 1. And this is preview. This is where the attacking animation. Yes. Yeah. So you set it to number 1. And it's the same thing. Oh, and change the animation of main character to number 4, and that is when he turns red, and yeah, it shows you that he's being attacked. And it's the same thing for the hospital girl. It's the same code. You just, because in coding, you don't want to have to be typing the same thing 20 times. So you just copy and paste. And this code is health bar. So meaning basically when the evil boy or the hospital girl hits the player, you have some of his life. Like it subtracts his life. So yeah, and when his life reaches 0, he dies. And it takes you to a different screen. It takes you to the screen, game over. All right, let me try to find that because it's here. Change scene to retry. And you come right here, and retry screen is here. So when he dies, I put the code to bring the screen to this, like change the screen immediately. But let me show you what happens when I win. Because it's a different outcome when you win the game. I'm trying to win. So just pay attention. I hope I don't die before then. No. And as you can see, it's just a simple platformer game, so there are no like extreme visual effects or anything. Oh no. Yes. Winner, how you feel? Press R to retry or E to exit. And yeah, it's one stage, so yeah, that's how you win so fast. So basically, that is all for this game. Wait. So yeah, when the main character is in collision with win, that means when he reaches the end of the stage, it changes the stage, the scene. I mean, to win. This is the win. Don't ignore that. Events. Okay, and these virtual controls are like if you're playing on a phone. So that's it for that. So, oh yes, Nick. Okay, we're going to go to the Pokemon Star game or the top-down game. But first, does anyone have any questions? This game that I just showed you was a platformer game, and I explained it as simply as I could. I hope you're not confused. So, any questions in the meantime before we move on? All right, no questions.
Sasha,
Yes, sir.
time is up to FM. So what I wanted to do is just demonstrate the Pokemon style game real quickly because I am going
All
to be
right.
them. I'm going to be taking them to develop next, right? So
G develop or RPG maker?
RPG, sorry, RPG Maker next. So
Yes.
um, Galen says he's a little bit confused. Um, I know
Who
that
is
guy.
confused? Oh, J the gamer. All
Yeah, he is a little bit confused. I know that
right, sure.
guys. It's very it's a lot to swallow now, but it's something to start. I just want you to get an idea of what it really takes to build a game, even a simple game. Right? So it's not something easy that you're just gonna jump into and say, oh, let me just bam bam bam. It takes work. You understand guys? It takes a lot of work, a lot of sweat, a lot of time. So if you're going to do
Yes, true.
anything at all, you need to ensure that you put in that you put in that effort. All right, guys. So yes, um, um, Jalen, it is very complicated, right? It's complicated, and that's a good word. But it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just complicated. And once you get the hang of it, sorry, once you get the hang of it, you will definitely enjoy, right? I'm sure Sachel enjoys making games, right? All right, so Sash, just
Sometime.
show them the demo for the Pokemon style game. You don't have to go into the coding yet. Just show them some of the animation and stuff, and that's it. And then I will take over and I will be talking to them about. I'm gonna be running through making a simple game in RPG Maker. Hopefully that will get them loving games again. All right. So
Yes, true, true.
yeah, you can go ahead and show them that. Is it set to screen now? Is the screen up?
Yes, it is.
All right. So here we go. So this one
So
is called
before I
Army Uprising. All right. Go ahead.
before I move on to this, I heard Mr. Martin earlier that Mr. Martin said game design you have to be problem solving because like if you're trying to make the character go up and they're going down, sometimes you're not going to know what to do. You're just going to want to give up on the game. But for me, I like researching and finding ways to fix things. So if it isn't fixed, then it means that I can't fix it, like genuinely. But you have to like spend the time, and it's going to make your head hurt you. But we'll move on now. This game, it takes a while to load. Like it loads slow because it's a complex, compact game. This game, lots of blood, sweat, and tears, and it's not yet finished. So, yeah, I had to watch a lot of tutorials. So it's taking a while to load, as expected. Alright, it's going to load full screen. Alright. So, is everyone seeing the screen with the game? Wait a second. So you're seeing, all right, Jada Gamer, are you seeing the game itself? All right, if you're seeing it, then let's move on. So here in Beta Army Uprising, that's the name of the game. You press N for to play the new game, and you press L to load game. Like the load screen, like you know, you can save a game. That was a lot of complications, so the loading wasn't finished. But we'll move on. And you have to tell me if you can see the game. So here it is. N. Press N. So, yeah. I'm not sure if you can see because I'm not seeing that you're seeing the screen here. Oh, Mr. Martin, it's raining outside.
Oh, the you can see the screen. You can see the game screen.
With the game?
No, the game isn't
All
loaded
right,
as
good.
we're just seeing the start screen that says VP on the uprising main menu. We're looking at your
Good. Mr. Martin, I can't hear you so well.
all right. We're just seeing the start menu of the game, right? Also, I think you should check the screen share to see if you're sharing the right thing.
Are you seeing the game itself?
No,
I'm
no,
not sure
no,
if it's showing.
no. It's not. It's not.
Okay, let me try to open the game again and change the screen since we're not going into coding, so you won't need to see anything else besides the game. Alright, and so I think it's going to show now.
Nope.
Alright, let me stop sharing and move on to the wait a second, I'm putting it to the screen. This one. Mr. Martin, switch it to the game, the screen.
Okay.
New screen.
All
Yes.
right. Right.
Here's the game. And it's on full screen as well. Wait, give me a moment. I have to get rid of this noise outside.
All right. She said she's gonna get rid of the noise outside. I'm taking it that she's going to tell the rain to stop falling. But in the meantime, guys, just to reiterate, game design is it's very exciting. And remember, you do not have to be doing all the work, right? You do not have to be doing all the work. Remember, it's a team experience. So everybody has their various talents. So whether you are a programmer or whether you like animation or artwork, everybody has a place to play. Or whether you like writing stories, because you can just write stories and make a living from that. You can just animate and make a living from that. You can just do programming and make a living from that as well. So if you think that you want to get into the game design in the future, right now is where you kind of look and say, all right, I think I want to get into the programming aspect. What do I do? When you go to school, you start to study IT, information science, computer science, that kind of stuff, mathematics, right? And guys, mathematics is very important, right?
And not, Mr. Martin, not only that, you have to know like the specific, like you have some code programming languages that are specific to games. Like you can use them to make better games, like Python, Object C, C++. Those are the main ones you use to make games. And Object C is one of the hardest ones I hear, I think. Python is a little easier. You can learn that really easily. But to get technical with it, that is where the hard part comes in. Okay. So are you finished, Mr. Martin? I can move on
Yeah,
to the game now.
yeah, man, I'm
All right,
ready.
switch.
You turned off the rain outside.
I just shut the door. All right,
All
there
right.
is the game. So this game, you press N for the new game. Wait, is this? And yes. And immediately when the game starts, you're supposed to hear music, but I wonder if this is the right version of the game. Wait a second. All right. So, okay, I'm sure everyone can hear the game now. The music, which would come under sound effects for the game. And so just makes it sound better. And I found this online. So this is the character when you're pressing the down button, like she walks down. Right button, she goes to the right, left button, and this is the back view. So this is when she's going up. And those are just some chicken on the farm to add props. If you can notice, it's a farm. And these are flowers. Like all these assets, most of these assets were designed by my other teammate. But like the flowers and the rocks, I got some from some free sites. Over here is the corn. The game is supposed to be designed in a way that you can harvest the crops. So yeah. And this is an NPC. NPC in a game is non-playable character. So you just talk to these people. You press space. And he says, hey there, player. And when you turn away from him, when you're not in collision with him anymore, the speech bubble will disappear. So if you talk to him again, what do you want to know? Like, you know, in some games, you go to one person 2 times, they say something different the second time, but I just set the code so that he just says this and end of story. Before we move on, this is my house. This is her house, I mean. Her name is Janet, I think. So we'll see inside her house now. Ah, yes, I got this music. You see that the music changed when I changed the scene. So this is the music for her home. And I got this music from Harvest Moon. When I select the coins, there's supposed to be a sound effect like the coin. And if you realize this game wasn't finished, so that's why she is walking behind these things. You come here, collision, the door opens, and I set it so that you can sleep. Little more man. But the thing, I coded this game so that, and this is Patwa by the way, yeah, because it's a Jamaican game. I set it so that you can only sleep when your health is 2 or below that. Right here is the health. You see the face is up here. So she has 3 lives now and $40. So let's see what will happen if I get low health. And the coins go up every time I collect a new one. Yeah. Wait a second. I wonder if this is the right version of the game. This does not look like it. Yeah, and I put the Roblox sound to happen when she gets hurt. And I got this sound from Legend of Zelda. Like, you know, when Link's health is low, you have the music playing. So you hurry back to your room, your house, go inside. You hear the sound of the door opening. You go inside here. Then, would you like to rest? Yes or no? You press no. Oh, too bad. Go back. Tired yet? You see that the brighten that what the bed says has changed. So you press yes. And it fills your life and it says Little Mormon. Yes. Then you go back outside. Let me see if I have any questions so far. Stream is loggy. Alright. So continuing with the game, I hope you're all following. Yes. The music starts again. He says the same thing again. This is supposed to be a map, but the coding wasn't finished as yet. And this is the mailbox. And if you press I, you can see the event inventory. And that down there is the player's weapon. I'll show you how you use that in a minute. When you press I again, the screen goes away. You walk along this path, and these trees you see on the sides, I got them on a Piskel site. I don't remember which site exactly, but I got them to add to the decoration. And you see mechanics. When the player goes behind the trees, you can't see her. She's not supposed to be walking on top of it. So here is the road. When you go there, when the player is in collision with the road, you change the scene to town. And as I said a million times, this game wasn't finished. So yeah. And there's an NPC, you're supposed to be able to talk to him. Over here is the farmer man. This building is a post office. Oh, yeah, and you can hear the background music. The music skanking. This is a bank. This is a door. You're supposed to be able to go inside. But the only place I put code so that you can go inside is the farm store. When you're inside, you can go around like this. I just look around at first. You have a bed right there. You have this man here. Everyman. Look around, boss. No charge. Right, and then you have this. Everything, you just interact with these things, press the space button. You have a dialogue tag that the code, that the objects say something. And yeah, you have the cost. So if I'm trying to buy it, yes. What? Cost. No. Oh, I just remembered. I don't have an option to buy it because I don't have enough money. So because I don't have enough money, it doesn't trigger the option to say if I want to buy it or not. So you know that I can't afford it. And the bed is the same thing. $50. Yeah. Wait. I don't remember which key it was to buy. Leave. Oh, it was a Y key. And I hope you remember that the bed that I had before. So when I press Y, you see the bed disappears because I bought it. So I set up the code so that it says, if I buy it for $50, then all my money is going to be gone. See, if I talk to this, press Y, Ironman, it doesn't, you can't buy. Chips right here. St. Mary's bananas. Yeah. St. Mary's banana chips taste good. And the RAS is what the man is saying. $50 for the one there. I can't afford it. So if I press Y, Ironman. Yeah, now make them kill you. Fight back with this weapon. And I can't afford that. Orange juice, replenish life. So when you buy that and have it in your inventory, it makes your life go back up. Insect powder. Seeds over here. Wait. And this is supposed to be a box lunch. Chicken and chips. The sight of it makes my mouth water. And it's $300 for a box. And if I buy one of these things, you're going to see it in my inventory. I shouldn't have spent off all of my money. Maybe I'll go back and buy and like farm for coins until I can show you what will happen when I buy something from this place. And if you can remember, I bought the bed. So we're going to hurry back to the house. And you'll see what happens. So I'm just walking back here. All right, the music's out late. All right. When I go back in my apartment, you see, I have a different bed. And I can't sleep in it again because my life is full. Everything that you're seeing here is because, let me call it coins. Everything you're seeing here is because of the programming and the codes that I set up to state what is supposed to happen when this happens. Like you see, when I touch the door, in reality, there's a little bar thing below that where when I touch it, it changes the scene to house. And this is another code. Let me pick. And as for these monsters, you remember in the inventory I have that thing right there. It's a spray, and when I press W, I have my weapon, and I can walk around with it like this, and space to shoot. Yeah, you can kill these things. Oh no! And I get the chest when I kill it. You see? I had the sound effect to show that something happened when I killed the monster. And my life is low. So, and the way that you know that in games, I'm not stuck with this, so I could edit that. When I press the R button, she goes back to normal. So see W. Oh wait, W R W R. I'm going to replenish my health and go back to the shop for the last time and show you what will happen then. Yes. And I was the only person working on this code, so it took a long time because you know in any game you have like at least two or more people coding. So like when one person can get something, the other person can. I did this, so it was difficult because I'm not very good at coding, programming, but I know how to do it. So I just watched a bunch of tutorials, and that really helped me to make this game look decent and playable at least. So I'm back in the shop. I can't afford the box food, so I'll buy the chips. Yes. Come back here. Yes. And you see, every time I buy something, he says Ariman. This is insect powder. Yes. And the seeds are for $10. Wait. Yes. I can't afford this. So when I press Y, you don't hear the cash register sound and I don't get it. And yeah, the store owner bought a new bed as soon as possible. That's why you see a new bed right there. Oh, let me show you the inventory. Right. Again, this I watch tutorials in order to know how to do this, but it wasn't easy, and I spent a lot of time, and it wasn't finished. So that's why this powder thing looks like this. It's covering the words of the orange juice. So when I press I, it goes away. And another thing you have to see is this button. This is supposed to be the save button, but it wasn't. The save and load weren't complete as yet. But when you press this or press P, game paused. So you can't move the character. Like you can't walk. And press P again, it resumes the game. Anything else? Let me see if there was anything else. Chips the same cost. Oh no. Nick, let me tell you, the only reason why the chips is the same cost as the bed is because when you're testing a game, you have to like I can't be making $20,000 every time I need the bed. So it's either you lower the cost for the bed or you just automatically let the player start off with $10,000. And I did the former, which is make the bed cheap. And chips, $50 for chips is very reasonable. Here chips for $2 means. I'm guessing Jay the Gamer is from Jamer the Gamer is from like America. So yeah. Oh, this is Jamaican currency, by the way, not US currency. All right. Let me see if there was anything else. I have to look in the code. I don't think there was anything else. So,
Okay.
and this place is the barn.
Yeah.
And a barrel, I got this off a free asset site. And yeah, the reason why you see this blank screen is because the coding was never done. So exit off.
All right.
And I can. Oh,
We have lost
Mr. Martin.
We have lost your screen for some reason. Are you?
Oh no, because I closed the screen.
Okay. All right. So basically, what I want to do now is I'm gonna take them over to just to create a new game from scratch. so that these young people who are scared of G develop get back their confidence. All right. So basically, guys, do you have any more questions for Sashel? Right? Remember, she programming is her specialty. Um, ask your questions quickly so that we can move on. Any questions? All right. Nope. And the way Kieran said it is like, oh my God, I just want to get out of here quickly. Oh gosh, you develop is hard.
Oh, good.
All right. How long have you been
It's
doing
not
program?
easy.
How long have you been doing programming?
Um, uh, I've been doing programming in grade 11. I did Pascal in high school. I did C. I learned C, so that's why it's kind of easier for me to understand the logistics that goes behind coding. So G develop, I've been doing this since the IA in 2018 to 2019, and I hardly go on this, so I'm pretty rusty sometimes. So yeah. Yes, I answered the question now.
All right. Cool. All right. So we want to go to the next slide, which is my drawing. All right. All right. So basically, let me take over now. So guys, what we're going to be looking at next is just a demo of how we go from building a game from zero to 100% really, right? Um, Give me a second. Let me get- All right, great. So we're gonna be looking at how do you start from zero to hero. All right. Let me share my other screen with you. All right. So remember when we were talking about our game, right? We decided that we are going to create a game from scratch, right? And the first thing we have to look at is our story, right? So what I'm going to be showing you now is like from the very, very beginning, what will the story look like? So here we go. So what we do is I use PowerPoint to get my ideas across really quickly. Um, PowerPoint is very nice when you want to add pictures. Remember, guys, you're gonna have to do a pitch, right? So once you set up to do the pitch, once you set up to do your pitch, you're gonna need something to show visually um, how your game is going to look, how it's going to work, etc. What are the mechanics gonna be looking like? I'm just bringing up um, the slides. All right, let me share my screen here. Yes, it's here. All right. All right, so here we go. Here we go now. And it's loading. All right, so basically, um, yes, give it some time to load. My computer is very, very slow today for some reason. Let me close some windows so that it will load even faster. All right, here we go. It's loading, 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 loading. I can sing a song until it's finished loading for some reason. All right, we need to get software that we understand. Yes, you. Let me answer some questions in the meanwhile. This is loading. We need to get software that we understand. That is right. Sometimes you don't even have to get um, software that you understand. What you need to do is just get an attitude that, hey, if I'm going to use this software, the best software to create my game is such a software. You just have to make up your mind and just learn it. All right. It's Unity. Unity is one of those software that you can do anything with, but you need to know how to code. But when you put your investment into these skills, sooner or later you will get the most out of it. All right. So the gamer, um, do not worry about the software. Just think about how can I solve the problem that I am having. Right. So here we go. So the first thing I do when I'm coming up with ideas for games, right? I I create my proposal, right? So this is how the proposal looks. And if you're gonna come up with an idea for a game, this is how I expect that you're going to do it for me. All right. So the first thing is I have my title page, and the title page it talks about what the name of the game is. So this is Beat Army Worm Uprising, right? And here is this evil looking moth because the beat army worm comes from a moth, and this is the actually the beat army boss. And of course, I have a couple screenshots of my game. Now, if you don't have any screenshots of your game, you can always put up some concepts of your game, right? So basically, you kind of draw like what do you expect it to look like, and it's not a must that it comes here either. All right. So the first thing is copyright protection. Ensure that you put copyright protection on your thing because people will steal your ideas if they get a chance. So that copyright up here with the copyright C and the time that the date that I created it by David Martin. If anyone steals my game, I can sue them, and that is very important. I know you guys are young now, but when you get older, you realize how important it is to copyright your game. And even if you are how can I say it? Even if you're gonna do a game now and you decide you're gonna do something serious and you wanna make some lunch money or something like that, you you can always ensure that okay, you can always ensure that the the copyright, you get yourself a lawyer and you work on that copyright issue so that you, oh yes, I did send you the Google and I want to see it. I want to see it when you, Jamer. So ensure that you get a lawyer and the lawyer will work out that legal aspect for you. All right. All right. So the next one now, next slide. Demographics. Now, demographics is the big word that says who are you making the game for, right? What's the age range? Who do you want to play your game? Who are you targeting to play your game? And usually, when you do this, you can make a game for fun or you can make a game for profit. If you're going to make a game for profit, there's a specific type of people you know will play your game and they will pay for it or pay for items in your game. So you have to ensure that you are reaching them and so you can get maximum returns. You know that when you go into the Play Store or the App Store, there are some games that you have to pay for and some that are free. And there are some games that when you're playing them, a lot of ads pop up, and sometimes it's annoying, but it's because these people have studied who are the demographics, what are we trying to sell that set of people who are playing our games, as well, right? So even with animation, if you're watching Cartoon Networks, you see a lot of ads geared towards kids because they know that kids are watching Cartoon Networks and they advertise to kids. If you're watching an adult channel now, like CNBC or the news, you'll see ads that pertain to those bigger people. Like, for instance, a car advertisement. You would expect to see a car advertisement on Cartoon Network, but you'll definitely see a lunchbox advertisement on Cartoon Network, right? So that's how it goes. That's the basic behind it. That's the thinking that you need to put in. And of course, for this game, it's primary school age students up to young adults. So young adults would be like probably 20 years old, 25 years old, etc. Primary school starts at age what? 8, 7, 6 years old. So 6 year old to young adult. So this game is supposed to cater to that range of people. And because it's an educational game as well, it's not something that you expect that you're gonna play just because you like it. You're playing it to learn something. So it's really like a course. All right, and it says young farmers and other agri stakeholders. So you get specific as to the type of people that you really want to play your game. So this is for farmers because farmers need to know about the beet armyworm. So that is why we are playing for farmers. And it says finally, all social and economic strata means everybody. Everybody, whether you have money or not, you are invited to play this game. The next thing is the rationale. That is the reason for your game. Now, the reason for your game, I could easily put slash reason, right? Right. So basically, why am I doing this game? Why am I doing this game? So this game is about me teaching people about this worm that is causing problems. So the beet armyworm is a small moth and it's an agricultural pest. And because it's so bad, it eats up your tomatoes, your lettuce, your scallions, it eats up your crops and it destroys them. So our farmers were having a real bad problem with them and they didn't know how to deal with them. So it really tells you how to deal with them in the game, which you can do real life situation out of it, as well as give you general information so that you can protect your crops better. All right, and it's his hope that when the child of a farmer plays this game, they will say, "Daddy, this is what we're fighting against, and this is how you can help." Right. So that is one thing. The rationale is very important. Now the setting. Now remember we talk about the different parts of the game. This is a part of the design, the setting. Where are we going to be? The game will be located. And when I get on my system, I will show you to how we're going to set up a stage. So this is like present day Jamaica. You're helping Farmer Jane protect her fields. So right away, it's gotta look tropical. It's a platformer, right? Well, it says platformer here, but it's actually an RPG game. And so right away, based on the information in your settings, you kind of have an idea how the game is going to look and how it is going to feel and what kind of genre it's going to be. And then you talk about the hero now. The hero is the main character in the game, and it tells you who is the hero. Um, Farmer Jane. You play as Farmer Jane, you learn science, actual science. You can play for coins and power ups and real world benefits. And she can use her game points and access discounts and free products from advertisers and sponsors, etc. That is just extra information from me. You can go for more and add some more information about Jane, like her age, where she's from, how she grew up, how did she become into this situation, all of these things, right? Now we're looking at the gameplay now, and this tells you the kind of gameplay to expect, right? So one, it's a freemium mobile action RPG. So it means freemium means you free download it for free, but you have to pay for apps. You have to watch videos. So it's one of those annoying games that every time you want to move, you're going to have to pay for something or download something or watch something. Of course, we as the developers can decide how annoying that gets. But basically, that is how you get paid from the game. Those ads and stuff, that is how you get actual money from your game. So when you're developing games, you wonder, how am I going to make money if I'm not going to sell it? This is how you actually get paid. All right, so as you go through the game, you collect tokens, applicable information, nuggets. So you're gonna find tokens, nuggets, coupons. You fight against worms and the bosses trying to destroy your field, and you realize that this is a side story that you realize that this great invasion may have been caused by climate change. And then, of course, you have information drops that teaches you about the worm and how to destroy it. Then, of course, you have while you have your heroes, you also have your enemies, and it gives you a listing of the enemies. So you have moths that lay eggs, this big boss moth here. The small larva, which is this little worm, that's the most common one. Then now you have a bigger version of this worm, and then you have another one that says heavily armored enemies, right? So you have to destroy it before it becomes a super moth. So that one wasn't in the drawings, but it's there. It's in the write-up. All right, and then of course you have your weapons. What kind of weapons will Farmer Jane be using? So she has a water cannon, different chemicals, pesticides, nets, zappers. Zappers is something that you use to kill mosquitoes electrified, and she has a shield, and she has an ultimate weapon, and that is not shown because it's under development, right? Then there are also props, and these are non-weapon items that you're going to use. So you see, while you're thinking about games, you have to think about a whole heap of things that's gonna be in a game. The hose, the tools, the farm shed, the tractor, farm animals can be props. Anything that is there to make the game look a little bit more exciting, and stuff that you can use as well. So you have machetes and other farm tools, right? So in my situation, I have use cases. You don't have to put this in yours when you're starting out, and it's just showing all the instances where you can use this email. So anywhere that you can teach people about agriculture, it's a perfect place to use this. All right, next, this is another very important part of the whole game design situation, right? Um, Basically, the the timeline and the production schedule. How long will it take you to create the game? That is very important, especially if you have someone paying you to create the game, right? So you have to break it down into your story board, your sound effects, your animated sequences, your live action, your game production, your critical time. You need to have a schedule set up to show how long it's going to take you to create a game, and this says 6 months and 4 weeks. So this is 6 months from 4 weeks from now would be now it's August. 6 months from now is January. 4 weeks it's February. So like the first of February, if you started today, the first of February would be when we finish this game in its entirety. And do not think that's a long time because some games take up to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to make, right? So that is not a very long time in game design um, situation, right? Um, Give me 1 second, guys. Yes, I'm back. So, do you have any any questions so far, guys? Any questions at all before we go on? Finish explaining. All right, I don't see any yet. All right, so good. So let's go. All right, so basically now we have a demo as well, which you can have like a proof of concept. which this is like a video that shows. Let's see if this works in here. So this video is showing you like all right, so yeah, that it doesn't work in here. But it's you saw the game before, so basically it's the same situation where you it's just showing you the gameplay or the game trailer, right? How the game will actually look, and that is if you have actually um, created a version of the game, right? And of course, you have value-added products like websites, animated series, just like the one that we showed you, Tales of Alita on, and we have merchandise, t-shirts. So you make all these things so that your game can sell or become more popular. And as I see, someone said something about promoting on social media, right? All right, so everybody's clear so far. Everybody's clear so far. Let me move on. All right, so going to be sharing my screen, my other screen now. Oh, yes, there's also one other thing that you have to take into consideration, the cost. Everything costs money. So basically, you need to know how much money you're going to spend to create your game, right? So you have to break it down to see how much each person is going to earn, right? So that is something that is extremely important because nobody really does work for free, and even if you work for free, you have to put value on your time. All right. So let's look at yeah, let's now that we have gone through all of that, let's just create a game from scratch and let's see how fast we can create a game from scratch. All right. All right. So here's my screen, and we're looking at um, we're looking at creating a new game, right? So basically, I have my notepad here, and so I'm sitting down and chilling out, and I'm saying to myself, "Hey, I feel like I want to make a game, right? So I feel like I want to make a game. I want to come up with an idea. Mr. Martin has given me some sort of guidance on how games are made, etc., etc. So how do I come up with a game and get my ideas rolling? Right, good. So first and foremost, I come up with a story, and the name of the story is The Adventures of Bogo, right? So I have Adventures of Bogo, and Bogo is my character, right? That I'm going to be following, right? So Bogo is the hero. So I just put a little bit of notes down. Here Bogo is the hero of my game, and the villain is a Bogo eater, and there's an NPC, which is a non-playable character, which is a wise man. And I have the setting will be Bogoland, right? Do I have any props and tools? Not for this particular game. It's just like, all right, I do not like writing stories, so someone else is have to take that. Good. That's the spirit. If you can't do something, you get somebody else to do it, right? Not the whole game, right? But if you can't write stories, you find someone who writes really well, and then they can do it. So I have my story, and this is going to kind of help me to start out with with um with my game. Good. So I took the liberty of doing some graphics. So I use Photoshop. You can use Paint if you want, and then essentially I just created this Adventures of Bobo title really quickly, right? Now, how did I do that? First things first, I found a file. So this is the folder that RPG Maker. Oh yes, I'm using RPG Maker MV, guys. So basically, I found a file in RPG Maker MV with this blue style logo, and then I created using the same software, Photoshop. I just typed up Bogo. All right. the adventures of Bogo. And I kind show you part two, right? And then I just save it, file, save as. Now, when you're using RPG Maker, you have to use the same format. Now, RPG Maker is very nice to use, and there's some customization that you can do in it, but you have to be careful that you save the your your um your files in the right format. So let's just look at RPG Maker now. So here's my RPG Maker, right? So this is my software, and I downloaded it, and it's on the trial version. So basically, it's pretty new. All right. So as you can see, here we have our. Give me a second. Just let me mute my mic. All right. So as you can see, over here we have our in the corner over here we have like different little tiles or terrain tiles, right? And I'm just going to take you through how I start, right? The first thing I'm going to do is to create a map, right? So this is my map, and it's already created. The grass is already there, but if I want to, I can modify my map. So I'm going to create this map called Bogo World, and in the world you can go to different places, and you can when you enter the different places, it will take you to some other places. So this is Bogo World, and the first thing I'm going to do is create like a sea around Bogo World, right? And it is that easy. You just select the water feature at the top, and you just create the sea, and that's how easy it is. So Bogo World is an island in the sea. There you go, and you can make it look you want like look a little bit irregular, like a real country type kind of thing. All right. So this is Bogo World, right? I can even make it look like a bee. So Bogo World looks like a bee, right? So now, so this map, I want to have some specific places on the map that is useful for Bogo World. So I have the Bogo World forest up here, right? So there is the forest, and you can put trees, and it's simply as just selecting what's here and just putting them on the map, right? So you have a little bit of that kind of thing. Then I have a mountain, so I want to put in some mountains. So here's some mountains, right? Also, I can even make some specific mountain. I want to have a volcano on Bogo World, right? So I'm gonna set up my volcano somewhere down here, and of course it's a tile, so set up your tile. And of course, if you have a volcano, you know that the area around the volcano is going to look like, gonna look like like hot, right? So let me do this again. So you're gonna have like different spots out and with the lava and such. Let me rebuild my mountain. Right. Alright, so let me go back and just a little bit. So this is my volcano and stuff. So yeah. So there's my volcano, and this place, is gonna be really, really hot, right? Okay, for RPG Playground. Good. I want you to share that in the group, right? All right. So I have my forest, Bogo Forest, and I have my Bogo Volcano, and I have let me put in Bogo Village, right? So here's Bogo's house up here, and it's simply as just putting these assets because these assets were already created, right? So it's a case that all you need to do is just go in and just click on them and just build up your map. All right. So after this, I want you guys to kind of try this out. I want you to try this out. RPG Maker MD. Download the. So here are some some different ports, etc. Right. So let's just work with that. Of course, you're gonna join everybody, so you need a road, right? So I have a road that will lead to different parts. Oops. Right. So I have this road that leads to the different places, right? All right. So let me fill in over here with some more trees. Go first. Good. All right, so each of these sections now would have been created, and then I will now set my main character is going to appear here, right? So when my game starts, the first thing you'll see is Adventures of Bogo, and then it will take you to the to this screen. All right. So let's just create one level. All right. So new. And then I create a new map and I call this map Volcano Land, right? And then my background, I don't have any background, and the size is the same. All right, so this is my new level, new map that I'm gonna call Volcano Land. All right, guys. Ooh, the Windows trial cannot work on your map. All right, so now I'm gonna create a map. So Volcano Land has, um, of course, it is hot, right? It's super hot, right? So I'm using my lava tiles, that's the texture, to create this hot looking volcano, right? Volcano section. So we're assuming that when you go here, you take it to the foot of the volcano, right? So I am creating this lava thing here. And pretty simple. I mean, not too complicated. All right, and now that I have this, I'm gonna put like treasure and a boss, right? So first thing I'm gonna do is put a treasure, and it's here, so it's new, and I create like a chest, right? So I'm looking for a chest. I'm looking for a nice looking iron treasure chest, okay, and then I will apply here. So right away, I have my little treasure chest down here in the corner, right? Are you guys seeing everything, right? You guys are seeing everything? Everything is working all right for you guys? Just let me know in the comment section. Have I lost anyone? Hopefully I haven't lost anyone. Huh? All the girls are here, I'm hoping. Or you're waiting until this afternoon for the animation section. That's fine. So I have my little treasure chest in the bottom right here. And you've noticed I have not play tested the game as yet. I'm just creating my levels. All right. Now the next thing I'm gonna have in the game is um I'm going to create a new, sorry, cancel that. I'm gonna create an NPC. That's a non-playable character, right? So I just picked out some basic stuff, right? Going to pick out a monster, right? So here I have a monster, right? And the monster is going to be there. So the first time when I come into the game, here is a monster, all right? And then new, I'm gonna create another monster. It's a big monster now. Big monster two. All right, here's a huge monster. And the huge monster is guarding the treasure chest, right? And then, um, let's say I enter from up here. So let me just put like a little entrance, like somewhere special that I would have entered from. Just change this up a little bit. So there we go. All right. Now, if you notice, you see me switching between. If you see me switching between these modes, one mode is for map editing, right? And this mode I can use to edit the map background and add stuff to it, right? So for instance, if I wanted to, I could put like a bridge on here, you know, like a broken bridge kind of thing, all right? Or I could put like a destroyed castle, right? And here's a destroyed castle. So the volcano erupted and destroyed this castle completely, all right? I could put some rocks on there, some really weird looking rocks. So that's my map editor, right? Now this is where I can edit my events. So we call them events because this is where you put in your players and you can actually animate them, right? So the first thing is I'm going to work on this character here. So I'm going to go to edit. Now in here is where in this window is where you actually modify the behaviors of the characters, right? So first thing he is approach, right? You set it to approach so that once you come in, he's going to walk up to you. All right? And he's going to walk up to you at a normal pace. So it's really common sense. You just read what these do, and of course, you have a lot of tutorials that that will help you. Okay, and of course, you can even customize them as well, right? So here we go now. We have him set to approach, right? And then we have the him triggered by the auto run. So it means that as you come in automatically, he's going to approach you. And then you have a new conversation. So I have new show text. So when he comes to you, he's going to say something to you. All right. So let's see what he looks like. So this is his side view. So he's going to say, hey, you trespasser. Hey, you trespasser. Now, the reason why I love RPG Maker is it's very, very easy to use in terms of putting in your story. So if you wrote down your story and you have dialogue in there, it's very easy to just type in or cut and paste the dialogue, right? All right, so he comes to you and says, hey you trespasser, you are in my dad's territory. Make sure you check your spelling, and he hates visitors. Right? So now you are now going to answer the now show text. This time you're gonna pick one of your heroes. So you can pick any one of these heroes here. Or let's go one better. Let's cancel that. Apply. Okay. You can go in and create your own character, right? So we're gonna create our own custom character, and you can do this two ways. You can use the character creator, or you can easily just create your own character in Photoshop and just modify it. So my character has, let me use a regular face. Front here, does he have any front here? No. Does he have any back here? He has none. He's a bald-headed man. Does he have a beard? Yes, he has a really nice beard. No, he just no mustache. What about his ears? He has pointy elf ears. What color is his skin? He's a black guy. What color are his eyes? He has red eyes, red evil eyes, and he has thick, bushy eyebrows. What color? Let us make his hair black, right? So he looks as evil as a monster. And then his eyes, eyebrows, nose. Alright, so his nose looks alright. Mouth, he's open up, smiling. You know, you can pick any kind of mouth you want. Looks very tricksy. He has a scar on his face because has a massive scar. Does he have beast ears? He already has elf ears, so you don't want to give him. Does he have a tail? Yes, let's give him a tail. Right? Does he have wings? Let's give him wings for the hell of it. Yeah, so your clothes. No, yes, he has on this kind of armored looking clothes. Does he wear a suit? No. Accessory one. Let's see. The overkill, yes, one eye. One patch on one eye. Earrings and a patch over one. Either or. Let's give him the patch over one eye. Alright, so basically accessory two. He has horns. And does he wear glasses? Yes, he wears grandma's reading glasses. All right, so that's your character, right? And down here it shows you all the sprite sheets for the character. Now, basically, you can use this character designer to create characters for any game, right? If I want to save it, so I'll save the walk character. Here's the walk character, and I'll export it. I'll call it bad guy. Now, it's important to note that when you export these characters, you have to export them into specific folders because that's what's going to be installed on your computer system when you run the game or your mobile. And it has to go there to find the image and then put it back into the game. All right. So if you're going to say, for instance, modify this character, I can find it easily in Photoshop. So the face character now, face export, and I can add it to say one of these, um, let me call it Bogo. So he's Bogo, right? And so basically, let's see if there's any other characters that I need. Some particular character, face setting, clothes. All right. So now when I set up my, remember we were doing the dialogue. So now that I'm doing his dialogue, I find Bogo because I already saved it. Here's the picture, and I say, "Me, Bogo, I fear of no one." Ha 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 ha. And then he says, "Monster two, monster, you will be sorry. You will be sorry." Right? So I have Bogo now, have a little dialogue going on there, and I click apply, and then I can click, let's give him, I don't know, probably. Uh, change. All right, so I will just leave it at that. And so apply. Okay, so after Bogo speaks to him, he can now leave him alone and he can go down to the monster. So what does the big monster say? You show text, monster. Oh no, there's no picture for this monster, so I will just have to work with just get a picture. I'll, I'm gonna assume that he has let's assume a regular monster. So yes, he looks like that. Let's work with that. What are you doing here? Are you here for my treasure? Okay. And then you, Bogo says, yes, R. And then he says, try. And yes, okay. All right. So there you go. Apply, try and get it. All right. And then I'm going to add new um, all right, so Bogo is going to do a spell. All right, so Bogo is going to say banishing spell, right? And then when I say banishing spell, something is going to happen to the monster, right? So he's going to say he's going to cry out. So I'm not going too much into this because this is something that you really need to write down and take time to process and fix before you even start the program. Remember, I'm just doing this from scratch. All right. Ooh, somebody says a whole new world. All right. Good. All right. So you say, okay. So when you say banishing spell, you say, right? And then you just add new control spell switch A on. Copy that. All right, this is a sort of code that I'm going to use to ensure that the the um the game does what I want it to do. All right. So then now when I do that, I change the image to I'm gonna just change it to a plane, right? And then he says, no, you can't use the plane. All right. So basically, so he's gonna say, you turned me into a plane. All right. So when he clicks on that, he's gonna say, you turned me into a plane. Apply. And then when you go to here, then you go to 500 or 29. All right. So when you go here, to text, you got gold. Okay. And then let us ensure that everything works the way we want it to work. Edit, transfer player to map one, right? Map one. So when you come here, new transfer player to okay, land up here. Okay, apply. Okay. Um, edit, auto run. So you have to ensure that all of these things kind of work before you start playing. All right. So now let's play our game and let's see what it looks like. Oh, one other thing. Let's change the title of the game. Maximum to one. I just want one here. Okay. And I'm gonna call him Bobo. And I'm gonna change his face to Bobo's face. I'm gonna change his character to walk character. Bad guy and back to the character. I didn't save that one, so that. All right. Apply. Okay. Let's change. Okay. All right. So these are all other options that you can tweak and play around with. All right. So when the game starts, I want my game to look like I want it to start out looking like really cool. So I want it to give it a nice look. Yes, there we go. So I want to start out with that as opening line, right? So let's see how it runs. Yes. All right, so it starts up like that. Any questions so far? So there we have our first game, Summer Camp Test, new game, Adventures of Bogo. And right away, the first bug is I can't find my character anywhere, right? But I know it's there, right? I can't find my character anywhere. So right away, even though the game is playing, I can't see my character. So I need to fix that, all right? So this is why you play test your game, all right? So I'm gonna close it. I need to know why is it that my character isn't playing. So first thing is game transparency on by me with okay transfer player to map new. So because I can't see it, I need to change the transparency to off. So once I turn, I don't want to see my player in my title screen here, but I want to see them on my map screen here, right? And once they appear on my map screen, they can go wherever they want to go. So let's play test again. Yes. All right. Of course, everything you can customize with RPG Maker. You can even change how that looks. So new game, it up a little longer this time, and now wait a minute, where's my character? He started way down here in the corner, right? So I can actually explore everywhere that I want, right? So Google is exploring, right? Then I go to Volcano Land, and there is Bogo. So immediately, he starts talking without even approaching me, and I can switch that. So you will be sorry, you trespasser. All right, so it keeps repeating. So I need to fix that. All right. So the next step is go to Volcano Line, edit, and take it off auto run and put it on action. Okay. And let's see what happens. All right, it says character does not spawn. I'm not sure what you mean by that. All right, so here we are again. So now I can walk around, and if I stay right over here, you notice now the monster is coming towards me, right? Oh, and I have another problem again. The monster isn't here. The monster isn't here. So let's see what happens. Ah, pretty lovely. All right, so let's work on that part now. Edit, action button. Um, okay, okay. One, two. Okay, I know what happened. Substitute, apply. All right. Yes. So you see, it's just a matter of playing, right? Um, when you say the stream is done, are you guys seeing anything? No. Are you guys kicked out? Can you guys still hear me? Anyone? Are you guys hearing me? Kieran, Gamer, Nick? All right, good, good. All right, good, good. All right, so basically, so now we're gonna test our game again. New game, Adventures of Logo. Logo travels around, searching. Hey, here you go. And here's the monster. So now you can see the monster. Go to him. Hey, you trespasser. All right. What's wrong with my monster? He's not seeing anything. All right. So this is why you play test, right? So let's see what happens. So you're supposed to start talking on the action button, and he is random. Let's see. Apply. Let's see if that changes. All right. So while we're waiting, so you see, RPG Maker is pretty easy to use, and you just need to get those tutorials, and I'm going to show you some tutorials that you can start from scratch. All right, and you can just start with making a simple basic. All right. There you go. So now my monster is walking around. Let me get down here. You're here for my treasure? Yes, ha ha ha. Then get it. Vanishing spell. Right. So he turns into a flame. You turned into a flame. All right. So you got gold, right? And if you want to check your gold, you just right click, and there you have your items. And down here you have your gold, right? Of course, all of these things. You have a life bar. You have your skills. You can equip your hero with a sword, weapon, etc. You can I can actually make a fighting section, right? Miss, I have Mac. Oh no. All right. You have to ask somebody to set up boot camp on your thing. Um, are you hearing me? Dylan, are you hearing me? Right. So you gotta have somebody set up boot camp on your Mac so that you can have a Windows side, right? So that's what you have to do if you're gonna run RPG Maker. All right. So that's pretty much it as a demonstration of how quickly you can really make the game. You say you cannot use RPG Maker. It's not hard to use once you download it. Once you download it to Boot Camp, let me just write Boot Camp. But you need to get like an adult to set it up for you or a emulator. And the next option is the next option for you, Jalen, is you just have to use GDevelop to, to do this. All right, so you may be trying to escape, but you can't escape GDevelop. All right, so guys, that's it for our lesson today. All right. So basically, that's how simple you do your game, and you start out. Let me just go back and share. I'm just gonna share back the screen with you here. Um, I'm just gonna share back my Chrome tab screen with you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So basically, guys, you need to get this part done, right? Work on your demo, work on your proposal, right? Your PowerPoint, right? And if you want to work as a team, that's fine with me, right? So you work on your stuff, and you get your PowerPoint stuff done, and then you start working on your game, right? So I will show you the tutorials that you'll need based on whatever game you want to work with. RPG Playground, and we can look at that too as well, right? So that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game development section. It's kind of harder than the animation section. So you can, oh, you're switching to games. Great. So Kieran, do you have Windows, right? Do you have Windows? Hopefully you have Windows. And there are tons of game developing software out there that, yes, you're going to need a little bit of coding, but the main idea is that you start. All right? Main idea is that you start. And please continue to check the Schoology. Yes, HP, that's Windows. All right. So don't you get 20 days to use this for free, by the way. So if you're gonna download it today and you'll have it for the next 20 days. You'll be surprised to see how much you can get done off of that. All right. So guys, get ready for the next session. If you want for the animation session this afternoon, we'll be starting at 2 o'clock Jamaica time. Sorry, 2 o'clock East Caribbean time, 1 o'clock. Hold on. Oh, it's already 1 o'clock. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna start at 1:45 Jamaica time, 2:45 East Caribbean time. All right, guys. So that's it for now, and I will see you guys later. All right. So I'm ending my broadcast now.